Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Is your girl the Coxie Empire. Thank you so much guys for sticking with me. Thank you for your likes, for subscription, for the views. I really do appreciate it guys. Thank you so very much. If you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to my channel. Just click on the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. Okay, so in today's video I will be talking to some parents who currently have kids in school and who have had kids for more than 2 years in school, to react to the teachers video. The parents have gone through this video, they've seen the teachers concerns, and they want to react to it. So stay glued to my channel. See you soon. So my guests on today's video are Mrs.
Sholuade
and Mrs.
Buku.
They are parents. So first of all, I would like to state some of the points that the teachers raised in the first video. The first thing that was stated was that the fact that some parents have this really condescending attitude towards teachers. They believe that teachers are actually paid to do certain things, and they are not up to standard. You know, this kind of I don't know, there's this no respect kind of look towards teachers, and that was one of the points that was raised, and a lot of teachers actually could relate. So what do you have to say from the parents' perspective?
Okay, I would like to start by saying, from my point of view, teachers are rock stars, and it's a profession of professions because there's no profession without the teaching profession, and I actually respect teachers a lot. Now, one of the issues we tend to have is misunderstanding between parents and teachers. And it's true, some parents are so overbearing. They feel everything should happen to their child the way they want it to happen, and it should be at the beck and call. But unfortunately, it shouldn't be that way. Now, I come from the perspective of a parent. When I first took my child to school, my fear was that my child won't get the attention I give her in school. The kind of attention I give her at home, my fear was that she wouldn't get it in school. I had the fear that the teacher may not really like my daughter because she may not understand my daughter. So those were the fears I had taking my child to school for the first time. But I was wise enough to talk with the teacher and let her know the fears I had concerning my child. And so I feel one of the things parents should do to help teachers is to let them know their fears, talk with them, have an understanding with them, and have a good relationship with them, relate with them. That way, you'll find out that there will be no problem between parents and teacher regarding the child.
What I would add to that is this. First of all, I think automatically when you have to put your kids in the care of another person, whether it's a teacher or anybody at all, just the parent nature in you tells you that as much as I want to protect my child from being hurt in any way, I also need to understand that there is a care and an honor that I need to give this person so that my child can also get the best out of this relationship. It's sad to know that teachers feel that parents are condescending towards them, and I agree with what Mrs. Sholuade said. Um, um, what she said about the fact that teachers and parents need to talk to get to that place of understanding. But more than anything else, there's, like she also said, that the place of a teacher is, in fact, it's non-negotiable. It's so important. After those of us who stayed with our kids for like an entire year last year, 2020, the COVID year, after staying with our children for a whole year, I respected teachers. I'm like, can you people resume school and carry these children away? We love our kids and all of that, but we can't give our kids everything. Our children will have to go into the world, we want to be there with them all the time. So what they're getting from teachers are values and certain learnings which we don't have, that they need to have. They will need to interact with other adults that will not take some of the nonsense we may take at home. There are some instructions you can give your kid at home, and your child's like, oh mommy now, oh daddy now, and you melt. And then they go to the real world and they do, their teacher tells them, sit down and copy your notes. At that point in time, they will look at the face and say, this is not my mommy's face. And we need that. And I think if parents understand the value that teachers are bringing to the table, beyond I'm dropping them off, somebody else will take care of them for the next 5 to 6 hours, and then I'll pick them up and they're going straight to bed. If you look at it beyond that, if that's how you see the teachers, then perhaps you are looking at them as a nanny. And even nannies need to be respected and given their due honor. So I feel that when we understand that we don't have everything to equip our children with, and there are this group of people that are graced to do this, it changes the equation, because then you know that I need to honor the person who brings this value to my
One of
child.
the other points that was raised was um, giving and receiving feedback. For instance, you drop your child in school, like as a parent, bringing your child to school, the bill alone will make you have an expectation already. You like, I have a child, so and so. You already somehow know their strength and some of the areas you want them to improve on. So I think this is where the teachers feel like, okay, you paid so much. Why don't you want to know? Why don't you give me feedback? Why don't I get to know how this child is faring at home? Is he improving? Some parents, from my own experience, some parents do not even get to want to know anything at all until they see the results at the end of the term, and they begin to complain about certain things.
Feedback is very important. The teacher needs to know how the child fares at home, as well as the parent needs to know how the child fares in school. So any parent taking their child to school should know that's very important. And I also believe that the school should have a system where feedback is required from the parents, and same thing from the teacher. Now there are some schools, they have what is called this a what
I don't know, open day.
apart from the open day, there's this book, school
Communication book.
communication book. Yeah, some schools have communication book, and so there should be a daily reporting of what happens at home, of how the child, if the child has done the homework, or if the child is willing to do her homework, the parent should be able to relay that in the communication notebook. And also the teacher should also, in that same book, tell them, okay, this is our homework, this, your child didn't eat today, your child wasn't feeling well today. So that's the essence of the communication book. But there are some schools, they don't even operate the communication book. They have clear, open communication lines between parents and teachers. That's why I said the system should be put in place. Where I take my kids to presently, I have a free communication line with their teachers. So every day the teachers call me to say, okay, your child didn't do this today. She didn't do well. I'm not really happy with her progress. And I'll say, okay, you know what? I'm going to look into it. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to talk with her. And so I believe communication is key. There should always be feedback. And so if you are a parent and you don't, get to know how your child fares in school, if not daily, weekly, I think it's something you should pick up, because it's going to help your child, it's going to help you, and it's going to help the teacher as well. Yeah.
Okay, to that, I'll come from a different angle. I agree. Feedback is so important. Everyone needs feedback, and especially where, again, you your child is in the care of a teacher or someone who's supposed to be providing value, and like Deborah said, you pay a lot of money for this value. You need to find out what's the return on my investment, right? But I think one of the issues parents may have when they don't ask for feedback may not be that they don't want to ask for feedback. Um, in some cases, some parents are already so overwhelmed. Um, I'm sure if we take a sneak preview into some people's private or personal lives, you'll find out that the intention is there to actually find out what's going on in my child's life and everything. But maybe the cares of their life, their personal life, trying to juggle so many balls and many other things may not allow for that to happen. As understandable as that might be, it's still important, like we said in the first point that was raised, that communication has to happen between parent and teacher. um it maybe all the time a parent has may just be to drop off the kid, and the next time they're rushing from the office to take the child from the school, drop them at home, and maybe dash back to the office, and their life is just a roller coaster of things happening. But I think that it's important that at least we have phones. You can have the teacher's phone, the teacher can have the parent's phone, and then there's that communication happening anyway. So that we have WhatsApp, there should be that communication to say this happened in school today, the way this kid reacted to this, that, and the other. Because sometimes the reactions we see in school may not necessarily be that the child is a bad child, but maybe something is happening at home that needs to be looked into. And for the parent, something may be happening at school that must be looked into. The balance that the teacher and the parent have to get is something that is important, that affects the child in one way or the other. A child who's normally quiet and who all of a sudden begins to be violent or reacts in a very funny way, it may just be traced to this busyness of the parent who's not giving the child enough attention, and then the child comes to school and is overwhelmed by work, and then the cycle continues week in, week out. It could just be that. So that communication is, sometimes the feedback is not even necessarily that, and this is how your child did in school, or the child didn't do in school. It could be as much as she's been in this mood, she's been in this space, her moods are this, she's always crying, she's become too quiet, she's become too this or too that. That may just be all the feedback that the mother needs to get to say, I need to slow down, or the father needs to get to say, I need to be more present. In terms of feedback, I would say that I don't know that any parent just wants to dump their child and pick them up and say, as long as I'm paying, it doesn't matter. I think some things may be happening in the background that an understanding between parent and teacher would help to create a balance for the child and still bring out the best in the child. And each party knows that they have a support system in one another.
It still boils down to, regardless of how hectic the day of the parent is or whatever, it still boils down to communication.